Then, so we have started with this topic of similarity. Okay, similarity. So 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, similarity. This is the topic that we were dealing with last time. Similarity of shapes in general, I can say maybe shapes, similarity of shapes. So, can anybody just quickly try to summarize what we were doing the last day? Yeah. So we had triangles which were not of the same size, right? We had triangles, one might be bigger, one might be smaller, not of the same size, but they had the same angular properties. Okay. Triangles which are not of the same size but have the same angular properties, meaning that, let's say, this angle right here would be equal to this angle right here. And then this angle here would be equal to this one. Is that right? And as a consequence, this third angle would be equal to this third angle. Yeah, is that okay with everyone? Yeah. Such triangles were known as similar triangles. Okay. Right. Not an issue. So these triangles are known as similar triangles. This is probably what you know. What is the major consequence of this? Like, why are we doing this? The main consequence is that whenever you have two triangles with the same shape, so the idea is that they have the same shape. Okay. That is the key idea. And that has implications. That has implications in the form that one of the triangles is essentially a magnification of the other, right? So what do I mean? I mean, like, AB is a magnified version of DE. Okay. And the scale of magnification, how much AB is magnified to DE, the scale of magnification is the same for the other sides as well, right? So for example, BC is magnified version of EF and AC is magnified version of DF. This is the key thing about similarity. This is why it's useful, right? For example, if you know three of these quantities, then you automatically know the fourth. Okay. If you know three of them, then you know the fourth. So that is basically what it was. It's just a quick recap of the main thing that we did the last time. What I want to do right now is a few simple problems. They will be very straightforward questions. Okay. And maybe tomorrow I'll send a problem set which will have more interesting questions. But right now we just want to do a few simple questions to start with, just to make sure that we have grasped the concept that we were doing yesterday. So let's see what I'm talking about. So this is a very straightforward question. We have a triangle, and that's a line parallel. This is just to see that similarity is useful. Not very interesting questions, but just to see that how these things are useful. So let's say we have this triangle and we have this ABC, D, E, so on. Here are a few things which are given and a few things which are unknown. So AD is, let's say, given to be 30. BD is not given, let's say X. Okay. AE is also not given, let's say 14. DE is, let's say, 14. Okay. And this EC is 15. Okay. And BC is also given. So it's a very computational question, but we're just trying to understand that similarity can be useful. Okay. Of course, now the challenge is to find X and Y. Very straightforward application, but let's do it. Find X and Y. So if someone is not able to speak or something, they can also send some hints, their attempts in the chat, so that it is more interactive. Yes. So how can similarity be useful here? Oh, yeah, that um, looks correct. Looks correct. Yeah. Yeah, other people, what happened? So it's clear that, again, it's clear that, yeah, anybody wants to say? Yes. Yes, yes. So that's okay. So we'll do it. So let's do it together. Yeah. So look, ABC is a magnified version of ADE, right? ABC is similar as a stretched version of ABC. Okay. This is a special situation of magnification in some sense because like the one of the points is like the same. But what does it mean? It means that AD is stretched to AB, right? AE is stretched to AC, right? And the amount of the factor, the scale by the amount by which this is stretching, that scale of stretch, that's the same for both. That is really the key. That will help us. But even here, it's not enough. So we'll have to really use the other one. DE is stretched to BC, right? And all these are same. This is really the essence of similarity. Computational use, you could say. Is that fine? This is fine, right? Now it's simple. Now let's say you want to find AE, right? Let's say you want to find AE. That's Y right there. You, sorry, can you say again? I'm not clear what you're saying. This thing. So what are you not understanding about this? So look, ADE is stretched to ABC, right? So that is they are similar. That is because as we had done this yesterday, so this is angle is same as this angle, right? This angle is same as this angle because they are parallel, right? So ADE, okay, so for the other people, just be a little patient, okay? So ADE is stretched to ABC, right? And that's why, because these things are parallel, as you can see, and this angle is common to both, this AD will be stretched to AB. So this is the scale of stretching, and that will be same as AE by AC, and that will be same as DE by BC. This is something you remember we proved yesterday. This was the Thales theorem. This was the Thales theorem, but even if you'd forget the theorem, just intuitively, right, AD is stretched to AB, right, and AE is stretched to AC, and by the same amount. And that's what I'm writing here. AD by AB means how much is AB stretched compared to AD. Okay, the Thales theorem. For people who were not here yesterday, they can try to prove this. They can try to prove this. Prove that if this is a situation, meaning that DE is parallel to BC, then in fact this thing will hold. Try to prove it. Not now, but maybe later. Those who were not here yesterday. Okay, that was a challenging part. So I hope this is fine now. So now I'll just put the value. You see, AE is just Y. AE is just Y. And AC is what? AC is, again, it has Y, right? It is Y plus 15. Just putting the values. Just see, I'm just putting the values, right? Is that fine? And DE is 14 and BC is 22. Is that okay? I've just put the values, nothing else. From here, I'm sure you can find the answer. From here, you can find the answer. You can do it in any way. You can do it in several ways like this. You can solve for the Y from here, right? 15 by Y. Sorry, this will be 22 by 14. I mean, you can do it in any way you want it. Many ways to do it. So that is 22Y. So this is the same as 22Y, 14Y, 15 times 14. From here, you can find it. Yeah, I'll leave that part. You people can do it. And then from here, from this equation, you can find the X similarly. So please complete that. Please complete that for homework. I'll be sending the video so you can watch it also if I'm not very clear. If you think you will forget it, okay? But should not. because it's clear that AE is getting extended to AC. That's why we are writing this. Okay. And similarly for the other sides. This is a very straightforward application. Okay. But good to do it. Good to do these things. Okay. Given where we are doing at. Let's do one more question like this. Let's do one more question like this. So this is really one, maybe we could say a small practical application. Now, again, it might be very easy for some people, but what we did yesterday compared to that, this is a okay question to do. So the goal is this. We have a mountain. We have a mountain. And really the goal is that we want to measure the height of this without actually climbing the mountain and so on. I mean, we want to measure, when I say height, I mean, we want to measure this perpendicular distance, not the slanting distance. That's a bit more complicated thing to do. And it's not a triangle. Okay. So we want to measure the height of this. What tools do we have at hand? What kind of things can we do? So we have a small pole. We have a small pole here. Okay. Now we are firing a beam of light. We are firing a beam of light from the top of the pole. Okay, of course, I must give you the length of the pole. I must give you the. So this is like a very non-mathematical, just a practical thing. Okay, so might be a little boring to some people. This is a height 2, but you can take inspiration for other things from here. So let's see. This is height 2 meter, but still it looks quite big compared to the mountain. But this is not to scale. It's just there, just to see things. Now what we are doing is we are firing a beam of light. Firing, maybe yellow is the right color, whatever. Firing a beam of light, maybe laser light would be red. Such that, so I mean, of course, you can always adjust it and so on, such that it hits the tip. It hits the tip of the mountain. Okay, let's assume that it hits the tip. Right now, there is a certain other place which is close to this pole where another pole is kept. So this is close to the pole. So again, because this is not very high, then since it is close to the pole, it's not very high, right? And these are actually a practical. Actually, these are techniques that are actually used to do compute these things. Another pole is there, and such that it passes exactly through the top. Maybe this pole is constructed later, or just something which is constructed whose height is calculated later because it's closed. You can maybe calculate it by some very direct manner, right? So this is what is done. Now I must also tell you the height of this blue one. This turns out to be 20 meter. Okay, this turns out to be 20 meter. All right, these are the things that are known. Now there are some other easy parameters that one can easily get. So I'm trying to make you people go with the problem, how the problem is made and how these things are actually done, because later on the problem might be for yourself to develop these constructions, and means at least on paper. So this distance again would be easy to measure, as you can understand. So this is just 10. Okay. And another distance which you can kind of agree maybe is easy to measure is this. Maybe this is not very easy, but let's say, I mean, something has to be given. With less information also such problems can be done, but we'll need trigonometry for that. We'll get there over time. Okay. Right. So with all these gadgets that we have, we want to find the height of the mountain. If someone can do with lesser number of information, they are welcome. Okay. Find the height of the mountain. Yeah. So maybe for some assistance, I can label these points. Okay. L, P, M. Yeah. So you can feel that the smaller pole is stretched to this bigger pole, and this is stretched to the mountain. An amount of stretching is also recorded here. So maybe you can use that. Okay, I think we have something in the chat. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, that we'll check it. Even I don't know the answer. Hopefully that's I think that's correct. But we'll check it. Oh wow, that's good. So you're very comfortable. Okay. Okay, no, the answer is slightly off. Yeah, Don, you can check it. It's slightly off, but I think your concept is correct. You're just making a slight error in the end, maybe. Okay, so you're pretty comfortable with this topic. Yeah, maybe for you, I'll invite you to also to another class in later on. But yeah, you'll see. Then we'll probably do more interesting stuff now. Yeah, yeah, that seems correct. Yeah, 1820 seems correct. But anyways, sit around. Let's see if you would like. Yeah, if you want, you can if you can turn on your mic. If you can explain to us maybe. I would like to hear you also if it's possible right now, because it's very interesting. You're doing it quite fast. Sure, please. What about others? Adityan? Okay, you're calculating. That's good. Okay. Yes. Meanwhile, he's calculating. Maybe let me start giving the hints to the other people. Okay, what this is all about. So really, first things first. Forget about the mountain. I would say mathematically inclined. I would say forget about the mountain. That's not important. The height is important, right? Now look at again. Let's simplify this thing again. Just draw a straight line. No need to draw all this. Okay. Now you see, this is a very similar question to the last one. Very similar question, right? Why? Because I'll dissect it like this. I can dissect it like this. Okay. So this is 20. So then this becomes 18. This piece right here, as you can understand, I'm not labeling too many things, but yeah, this is 18. So what is, and this is 10. This is 1000. So what is the situation? Situation is just like the previous problem, right? You look at this pink triangle, right? You look at this pink triangle. This pink triangle is getting magnified. Again, if someone is not understanding, please ask me. Okay, like that's perfect. Yeah, this pink triangle is getting expanded to this other triangle LM. That triangle, the big one, is getting expanded to the big one. And what is the extent of expansion? The extent of expansion is given. It's 10, and this whole thing is 1010, right? So this 10 by 1010 is really the scale of the expansion. And that remains the same for the other things, right? So this side 10 is getting expanded to 1010, right? That also means that this 18 would get expanded to this thing, this piece right here. Let's name it. Let's name this to Z. So this means that this 18 would also get expanded to MZ. Right? This 18 would get expanded to MZ. And from here you can calculate. Again, I'll leave that. Okay, I'll leave the calculation. You can try to do it. I mean, okay, let's do it. It's simple enough because 18 into 110, 101. You can do it. Right? You can do it. And then this will give you MZ. So it's all about the same thing, right? Similarity gives you this computational information. And then this MZ is this. And so you'll get the MZ. And then you don't forget to add the 2 in the end. And you get that entire height. Yeah. So please tell me if it's not clear to someone, just we can say we can try to explain it so that we can all catch up to the same place. Okay. So I suppose it's clear to everyone, all of us. Okay. So it is just the expansion thing. All right. So again, this is a simple question, right? Let's see. Let's try to do more interesting questions. So here is another situation of similarity with different orientation. This is again a simple thing. It's a simple thing, but the point why I'm doing this is so that we don't get confused with the simple. It occurs a lot of times you won't get straightforward similarity, but the orientations of the two triangles may be different. Okay. So don't go by how I draw the figure, go by what I write more. Okay. So let's see. This will again be very simple, but just to make it conceptually clear, that similarity may occur in different and that's really where you have to spot it, because when you're doing the more interesting questions in Olympiad maths and so on, you will never get them side by side similar. Okay, you will have to spot it on your own. Okay. So yeah, here is the other thing. Okay, this time I'm just drawing it with the hand. That's really the thing. We want to calculate things without actually drawing them perfectly and calculating it. Otherwise, what's the point of the theory? Okay. So this is 60, this is 80, and this is 40. Okay. Now, you see all the angles in the triangles are same, but they are not same in the corresponding way, though I may have drawn it like that. So can you tell me, so if I label it A, B, C, and D, E, F, then can you tell me which two triangles are similar? Can we say that ABC is similar to DEF? Will it be correct if I say this? Yeah. Will it be correct if I say ABC is similar to DEF? Let me ask a more concrete question. If I tell you that AB is 2 and this other thing is 4, and you can change the numbers, let's say DE is 3, then how would you find EF? So maybe you can think about the more concrete question. So you can see that the two triangles have the same angles overall, okay, but they are not in the traditional order, kind of with different orientations. So how can we go about trying to find EF? 3 by 2 equals to EF by 4. 3 by 2. No, that's wrong. Amanda, that's wrong. You think about it. Because the angles are not in the same orientation. This is the conceptual part. Right? So you see, this is 60 and this is 80. But then this is 60 and this is 40. So you can't compare this side DE with the side AB. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat? They are similar, but not in this way. Yes, so you're right. This is not, they are not similar. So I think then this is the interesting part for all of us then, at least this fun question. Yes, so you're right. This is not similar. ABC is not similar to DEF. Not similar to DEF. This is what is similar. You write ABC. So A is the angle AT, right? So you have, no, FED. Yeah, FED, right? Because see, you pick the 80, it's very simple. You pick the 80 degrees and you pick the 80 degree of this. So everybody should pay attention to this, okay? You pick the, this is just a method. I'll say this more conceptually, but from a method perspective, this is more efficient, okay? Because you won't always orient the figure again and draw it again and so on. You pick the 80 and the 80, okay? Then you pick the 60 because you have loaded 60 here. You pick the 60, so you pick the 60 of this, that is E. So you write the E. And then in the end, you write the D. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. I'll just draw the figure again so that it looks exactly similar. So that, I mean, I can orient it for those who are still maybe not very clear. Here is what's important. You have to put them in the same orientation. So 80 degree is the F. So I'll put the F there. Then I'll put the, very carefully, I have to put the 60 degree. I put the E. That's the 60 degree. And then I have to put the 40 here. Okay. Now you can write the lengths. Now you can write the lengths. EF was the question mark. EF is the question mark. And ED was the 3. Now these two triangles are similar. You can safely say it. I have explained it in a different way, but now it's more clear. Now it's, more conceptually correct. These two are similar because the angles are, oh God, what have I done? Have I made a mistake? This F is, wait a minute. F was 80, right? Yeah. Okay, so I have not written it wrong. F was 80 and this is 40. Sorry. Is it okay now? I've just kind of rotated the triangle. Okay, now you see this is 80, this is 80, this is 60, 60 side by side, so everything is good. This is 40, this is 40. Now everything is good. You can safely go about your work, right? Now you can safely say that ABC is similar to FED. These things are very important because unless these concepts are clear, later on when we do stuff like spiral similarity and homothety, which are special situations of similarity which arise more naturally, because you can imagine that some situations would arise more naturally than, more frequently than others, and those are really the strong tools of problem solving. So these need to be very clear. Yes, Karthik? Solved? No, I didn't solve it yet. I'm just saying that this is 80 here, right? Okay. So this 80 has to be matched with the 80 on this side or for the other triangle, right? So A has to be matched with F and the 60 has to be matched with the 60. So B has to match with E. Do you see my point now? So the F has to match with, the C has to match with D. That's what I did. And so ABC is similar to FED. But if you want to be more clear, just spending more time here because this is very important. Otherwise, this kind of confusion remains with us for a long time. Okay. So the point is that otherwise you can just rotate this triangle so that the 80, 60, 40 sit in the same way as they are sitting here. Is it clear? Okay. And that's what I've done. Now you can just do the problem, right? This AB by FE, that is X. Okay, let me write AB by FE for now. This is just the similarity rules I'm writing, which I have explained yesterday in detail. This BCE is again you can compare with ED because again you see they are in the same place. This is the base, that is the base. Okay, or you can also look BC and ED. You can do that. That will be faster, but for explanation, I'm saying like this. Okay, so BC you can compare with ED, and so on. But I do not care about the third pair. Do I? No, I just want to find EF. That was the goal. Now you can find the EF from here, right? AB is 2. Yes, I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, Ram also. Okay, I hope it's clear for everyone. Okay. This AB is the 2. This FE, this will be more clear when I give you more problems to do, which I'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, and then you can try it out over the week. This AB would be 2. This FE is what we need to find. Okay, and then BC. Now just putting the values. Take a deep breath, cool down, and just put the values. No need to get confused now because once you've written it, you can't go wrong. Okay, and there's no point to get confused. This BC is 4, and this ED is 3. Now you can solve it. Okay, you can find the X. So it's 6 by 4. X is 6 by 4. So this orientation is essential because later on we will be characterizing similarity using coordinates, using complex numbers, and so on. There, the orientation will actually change the whole game. Okay, the minus plus will come and like the orientations get encoded as numbers because directions can be encoded as numbers in the complex plane, and so on. So this is again a simple example, but good to do. Good to do, right? Okay, right. It's clear for everyone. Yeah, I'll be sending this video on the drive link. Share it so that everybody can watch it again if needed. Okay, because it's possible that but of course, do ask me the next class if something is not clear over the week and so on. Okay, right. Let's go to a next. This is again we'll be using this orientation things, and here there is again an interesting notion of self similarity. This is just a name I'm giving. Probably it's too simple again, but just a good name to remember it. Yeah, I mean remember meaning that in a nice sense. Yeah, self similarity. Yeah, but let me present it through a problem which is very something that all of us know, but maybe all of us have not proved it. Here is the question. Okay, let me draw the triangle first. Let me draw the triangle. Better to draw the picture and then write the words. So here you have a triangle ABC. And I have done this with Adityan earlier, but that was in a different way we did. Today we'll do a much simpler proof, and then you can see the power of these things. ABC is a triangle, okay? Given, given means granted, this is the hypothesis, you can assume this. AB is equal to AC. Okay? Given AB is equal to AC, show hold on, what do I want to say? Do I want to say this or no, this only? Yeah, the other direction is easy, so I'll be doing this one. Show that angle ABC is equal to angle ACB, meaning that the amount of tilt right here. Now this is again a very simple result. You can probably bash it up with Pythagoras theorem and so on, but we just want to see the beauty of this thing. ABC is equal to, this is what we want to show. So this is a question mark. Okay, I'm not saying it's correct. I'm not saying it's given. Yeah, you want to show this. Let's give ourselves some time and think about it. And you can try to come up with your own intuitive explanations for why this is true. But they may not be enough for a proof. But let's see. Might be. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Point A. Both sides meaning? Okay, like this. Okay, okay, okay. All right, that seems like an interesting construction. So no lens, nothing, just PQ. Okay, okay, okay. By the way, I must say that it's parallel as you have said. Yeah, yeah. All right. QAC, yeah. Okay, does everybody see this? QAC, wait, QAC and ABC will be equal. QAC and ACB. Okay, I just ask others. Is it clear for other people why this is true? This is against, yeah, just clarifying. Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's go on then. Okay, that's similar. Means that's that's similar reasoning. Okay. Why? Why? The entire line is 180. So what? No, that's not correct. Why? Why in half? Why in half? I mean, it is correct, but you have to explain why. I mean, it's correct because the problem is correct. Uh-huh. Yeah, it looks equal, and in the end, it is equal because that's what we want to prove. But you have to explain that. That doesn't seem correct. Hmm. Anyone else? What about you, Amanda? This is maybe a more interesting problem for you. Hmm. Yeah, that seems like an interesting. Yeah, that seems useful. That is a useful thing to do. So let's do that. So I'm for the time being just removing these two things just because right now we are not very used to lot of lines and things together. So yeah. So see, you are calling this a symmetry line. Yeah, this is the line perpendicular to BC. I will not yet call it the symmetry line because we don't know if it's really symmetric because that's what we want to prove in the end. Yeah, I hope you agree with me. Yeah, I mean, very strictly speaking. Otherwise, this is like clear that yeah, this should be true. Yeah, something that should be true, but we just want to prove it. And is it really? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Please. Yeah. D. AD. Mm-hmm. The bottom is the BC is straight, is parallel to PQ. They're straight. Yes. Okay. Understand what you're saying. Okay. Go on. Hmm. Yes, yes, the green angle. Right, 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 right. Ah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. That makes sense. But again, you see, that would be like showing. So you will end up showing that these two are equal, that AB and AC are equal. You feel my point? I mean, yeah, all of what you're saying is intuitively perfect, and you're kind of getting to the point that AB should be equal to. So he has a very interesting point, which we kind of touched upon the last day. He's saying that, look, if, and this is very clear, but it's a very very useful thing. If you have these two angles, then if this guy is bigger, it means that the opposite side is going to be bigger. Okay, this is a very useful. But see, that you will end up showing that AB is equal to AC. But no, no, that's right. I understand your point. Yeah. So because these two are AB and AC are equal, these two angles should be equal. Because if this angle was bigger, then the AC would be bigger. Right. That's right. Uh, the bottoms are ACB. That's right. I agree with you. But this is not rigorous. See, when you say that the bigger side, the bigger angle would imply the bigger side, this is not something that we have proved. This is something that we feel. You see, this is something that we feel is correct. I mean, it's clearly correct. You can say, it's so correct. It's obvious. That's right. But it's not a proof. Because if you think about it, this theorem itself is quite intuitively apparent, isn't it? That if these two sides are same, then these two angles better be same. I mean, bisymmetry, you can just say bisymmetry. And that word gets thrown around all the time. Bisymmetry, bisymmetry. And it is acceptable. But once we should prove it, like clearly prove it. Okay, like so that we should be able to prove it when needed. This is not a proof, but it's a very good explanation that the bigger side will, the opposite to the bigger side will have the bigger angle, and so since the sides are same, the angles better be same. But it's not a proof, just a slight, yeah. So yeah, as far as understanding is concerned, I think this is very clear. Your people have understood it, but a proof may be having a little difficulty writing it out. Okay, so let me show you an application of similarity which will actually prove this. Okay, like maybe you've not imagined how you can use, maybe you can't imagine how you can use similarity here, isn't it? So let me show you, because this is a very interesting proof. Um, so let's discuss it here then. So my point is self-similarity. So what I'll be doing is, let's say this is X and this is Y. So I'm not assuming they are the same. Okay. Here is what I will do. This is a slightly new thing. I will flip the same figure. I will flip the same figure. Okay. This is very deep thing. I mean, it's deep meaning that it's easy here, but deep in a sense that this is used in mathematics a lot. This is what is known as permutation of a figure, of the figure itself. Okay, permutations of an object. These are studied more concretely in what is known as group theory. Okay, but for the time being, so we have this A. What am I going to do? I'm going to flip it around like this. Flipping it around. Let's see. Hopefully, I am successful because I'm also not very. Yeah. Let's see. Now we can say this is Y and this is X. I'm not assuming they are equal because that's what I want to prove. Should be very clear. I should be very clear that I'm not assuming it. Okay. Okay. Now AB is equal to AC. Okay. Is that right? This AB is equal to AC. Right. And this angle is equal to this angle. Okay. Meaning the BAC is equal to CAB. So you can probably understand where I'm going. I'm going to SAS similarity. I'm going to show that they are similar triangles. So it's similar with itself, okay, in a of course, different orientation. But anyways, and also you can see that this AC is equal to this AB. So no one can stop me from saying that these two are similar triangles. AC equal to AB, right? So what have I proved? I have proved that ABC is similar to ACB. These are the bits that will be useful later on in contest questions. The little bits. You see, ABC is similar to ACB because I have written. Yeah, what did you not understand? But that is okay. That is correct. I mean, they are the same angles. I mean, look, this, okay, these two angles are the same, right? Answer, no, but, okay, how do I say? I mean, these two angles are same, isn't it? Just take it. I mean, they are same. They are the same things. They are the same things, right? I think you're thinking something more deep, but the point is that I mean they are the same things. Just take it like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a new thing. It's probably a little shock that I'm shocked, meaning that, uh-huh, it's the same triangle. Yeah, exactly. It's the same triangle. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, it may look different, but it's the same. Like the angles don't never change, isn't it? That's why also, Karthik, you can see that's why this x has gone to this x here. I flipped the triangle, right? This y has gone here. I have basically the mirror that we were talking, just flipped it. So yeah, it's probably a new thing. So it's a little it's happening. You can say, but it's happening. So I mean, this was maths. Okay, that's why these things are useful to basically something that is very obvious. We are proving it rigorously. Now this AC is same as AB. So now you cannot stop me from saying that these two things are, I mean, actually congruent, but they are similar for us. Good enough, right? ABC would be similar to ACB, right? Side angle side. So if I've just draw it here again just to remind you of what we did like this yesterday. If we have something like this, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? If I know that AB by DE, so AB is, let's say, magnified version of DE, and that magnification scale is same as AC and DF, AC and DF, and the angle containing them, that's important, the angle in the middle is equal, then the triangles are similar, which means that all the other angles will be same. This angle will be same as this, and this right third angle will be same as third angle. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say now. Because these two triangles are similar, this angle should be equal to this angle. Done. X equals y. Right, that's what I wanted to show. Now this is a rigorous proof. This is, you can say that I'm using SAS similarity postulate. Now, rigorous proofs can be a bit annoying sometimes, but they are very important. Number one, because see, geometry is a playground, where you can learn to write proofs for your later mathematics. Number one. And number two, I mean, it's really very interesting to see how just a few things, a few axioms like this SAS and so on. SAS is not really axiom, but yeah, few things can imply so many things if you really write it through those few things. There's just a few tunes able to make interesting melodies. Okay. And there are other reasons, but yeah. So, but of course, the intuition has to go along with it, which Ram also explained. I think others also see it. A line of symmetry is suggested. All that. Yeah. Okay, so we have proved. We have proved this result. Now the converse is very simple. We are not going to prove it. That if these angles are same, then the triangle, then these two are same. You can try it out later on. We can. That's easy part. I'm not doing it right now. So this concept of self-similarity is very important. Okay, later on when you do rotations and all these things, will These little bits will make you comfortable there, is my point. Okay. Yeah. So that was one place. Now I want to bring attention to another situation where similarity occurs. So I'm just trying to show you that it happens in different places. Similarity occurs in a lot of places, but some of them are a little out of reach for us for the time being. Okay. Another place for similarity. Again, this will not be straightforward given to you. Like side by side, they will be there. But it is one of the variations. And these small things will lead us to trigonometry. Okay. We'll see how sometime. So this is a right angle triangle. Back to the right. Now we understand the right angle triangles are critical. They are useful because any triangle can essentially be broken and quite fruitfully. The area calculations and so many things just work out from there. They just work out, right? So this is a right angle triangle, but I prefer to draw the right angle here for the time being. Now, what I'll do, I will draw another line like this. Okay, so this is not the midpoint or anything, this is just a perpendicular. It will stray away a bit to that side, to the smaller side, right? Seems like that. So we have A, B, C, and we have D. Okay. So ABC is a triangle. ABC is a right angle triangle. We have two other right angle triangles in the picture. What are they? ABD. Right, yeah, right. And what's the third one? Yes, exactly. That's right. Yeah, you can say DBC, BDC, anything. That's right, DBC. Yeah. So these two are right angled. Okay. Now the question is, and of course the third one is ABC are obviously there. Are any two of these similar? Are any two? Okay, so maybe so it might be very, it might be a little abstract for some people. Just saying, yes. Sorry. Yeah, which one? ABD and BDC are similar triangles. Let's see, are any of these two similar? Yeah, that seems correct. But let me just check it. So ABD, when you say, is similar to, can you say the last one, other triangle? Because I want to know the correct orientation, but you can go on. BDC, okay, I'm not happy with that because it's similar, not in this orientation, but we'll see. We'll wait for the, because see, this is kind of like 60. This is not the same. So remember, AD is not equal to DC. Sorry, what was the last thing? ABD is similar to B, B, G. Where is the G? Oh, C, sorry. Okay. Oh, you're saying BCD. Okay, let's see. Maybe your earlier one was correct, but yeah, let's see. All right. So this is what he's saying. So let's check it. So okay, fine. You can just say to repeat. Yeah. Okay, no, not an issue. You can just say to repeat. So this ABC is one triangle, and as you can see, ABD is another triangle. Right. This is a slightly another right angle triangle. So there's always a probability of some similarity. Right. and this DBC is another triangle, another right angle triangle. We are asking, are any of these two triangles similar, and such questions. Okay, yeah, you want to annotate, right? But the issue is that I am writing this on Zoom. That is the problem. Yeah, so maybe what I'll do is from the next class, I will do it over a Jamboard. Okay, so there everybody can annotate. The issue with the Jamboard is it's slightly small in size. But anyways, I think it's important for people to be able to annotate. Yeah. Let's see. I'll try that from the next time. Hopefully, I should do it. I'll think about it. That's my question. That's my question. Which two are similar? So let's first chase the angles. Let's see. Let's first chase the angles. So this thing right here will be 30, right? That thing right there will be 30, isn't it? Right. So now what is Ram saying? Ram said that this is ABD. So A, let's write it. Since we are doing this for the first time, we don't have to do it in the fastest way. We can just write it. We can just draw the thing, right? So this ABD, that's 30. And this is 60. This is ABD, right? Now this is similar to BCD. So BC, so that's again a 30, 60. So I think that's correct. So yeah, so B, C, and D. So you see the B would again be 30, the C would be 60. Now it's very clear that they are similar, like all the angles are same. And it is similar in the right orient. So whenever you get confused, you can just draw the triangles yourself separately, okay? But to be fast, I mean, that will come over time, but you can just see this is 30, 60. So this 30, 60 has to be compared with that. And so AB by BC, okay? So on, and then the D would come in the end. Anyway, so I guess that works out. Okay, so we have this as similar. Anybody else maybe can spot another similar pair? There are three triangles, but there might be another two triangles which are similar. I mean, ABD may be similar to something else also, right? It's possible. ABD itself might be similar to something else. So okay, so let me make it more concrete. Is ABD similar to some other triangle? Is ABD similar to some other triangle? One sec. Oh, I saw the message late. Yeah, I didn't get this thing for that notification. But anyways, I missed the message from Amanda. Anyways, so yeah, what you were saying, ABD is similar to A. Array? No, that's not correct because already ABD is similar to BCD, right? Uh-huh. BDA, BDA, and so BDA this is B and this is D. So 6090 and CBA, that's another 6090. That's perfect. I mean, yeah, that's correct. Right. This is another one. So this is again a very interesting situation, right? The bigger triangle, as you can see, the CBA. C is 60, B is 90, and that is 30. So this is 60, 90. Okay, sorry, this will be here. But there also it will be same. 60, the B is 90, and the A is 30. Okay. Now BDA, you see 60, B is 60 in BDA. So BD, the D is again 90, and the A is 30. These two are similar. These are similar in this order. Similar in this order. Okay. Now, why am I doing all this? It's good practice to spot similarity and so on, but there is a very good reason, another good reason. Okay, let's see. So suppose AB was X. Let's just call it X just to facilitate the writing, okay? Because I think people are getting comfortable with this. Let's call AB X. It's writing it in the top corner right here. Okay. Let's call BC Y. Okay. So this BC is Y. And let's call AC Z. Simple. Yeah. Can we relate these three things? Now, of course, we are not allowed to use the Pythagoras theorem. That will do the that will kill this problem. Can we relate these three things? Because certainly there should be a relation, isn't it? Because if someone gives you, so this is important to know. So in maths, when you want to ask, how do I compute something? Before you ask that question, you must know if it's possible to compute, if it even is unique, if it is even determined. This kind of question, because see, before you even conjecture whether some of the angles and triangles are 180, you must at least have a feeling. I mean, we are not making conjecture, we're just consuming all this math that is already done. But just saying that before you go out and try to prove that is one some this angle adds up to 180 degrees, you must at least feel that they have a relation. And how do you feel that? Well, you can feel it because if you you can see if you decrease this angle, you see this angle sort of increases. So you know that there's some constraint that's going on. So the guess is the sum must be constant. This is a very simple example, rather trivial example, but this is very important because going to prove something is a major thing in maths later on, right? I mean, proofs are big and costly, so you must at least know it's possible. My point is that if someone says this is 3 and this someone says this is 4 and they tell you this is 90, then you know that these 2 points are fixed. So you can there should be possible to find this distance. Now, whether it's a simple way to find it or not is a different question. And Pythagoras tells you as yes, there is. And most of you probably know the Pythagoras theorem. But even if you don't know, that's not the point. That's even better because we'll end up with it today. A proof of it. Maybe an alternative proof. Pain-free proof. Because now we have all the tools in front of us. Okay. So we're trying to relate these three things. So maybe we can start with some assistance, right? We can start with some assistance in the way that let's just call this thing C. Okay, AD is C, because again we don't want to write AD all the time, right? Call it C, and so clearly the DC becomes Z minus C. Now can you use the similarities that we have to relate these 4 variables? We have 4 variables hanging around. Okay, we want to be able to relate them. Or maybe if should we do that, or should we just do one thing? Okay, maybe some people can do it directly, but let's just take it to be 12 and 13. Sorry, I mean 5 and 12. let's call this let's call this C, and let's call this Z minus C. Let's try to find the Z. Later on we can write the proof by replacing this by X and by Y, but since we are doing it for the first time, some people may not be comfortable with the variables directly. So let's call it 5 and 12. But remember, there is nothing lost in doing this too much because you can just mimic the proof. Okay. Yeah. So let's call ACZ. Let's try to figure it out. Let's try to find it. Let's forget the Pythagoras theorem for a second and try to do it without it. Mm-hmm. Right. So we have this triangle where AB is given to be 5. right? And BC is given to be 12, right? We want to find the AC, of course, without explicit measurement. We want to find the AC, okay? The line AC. I'm just calling it Z for the time being, and I'm calling this AD part as C. And we want to find it. And maybe we preferably want to use these things, these similarity results, and set up those ratios, set up those fractions. And then we'll have equations and we can relate these things. So that way we can bypass using the Pythagoras theorem, also proving it. There are other beautiful proofs of this result, Pythagoras theorem. I have done it in the past with the people who were there that time. I think Adityan was there. I did it. And because we have already made these observations, so we can start trying to relate these things. Right. So you can pick one of them and using it first. Like you won't know where you're going in foresight, but you can try to start using it. No, Amanda, I don't think we should be doing that because that is really the whole point. Right? We want to do it in as a bare bones manner as possible. Yeah, I agree. With sine cos, it becomes trivial. But if you think about it, the sine and cos is really based off the Pythagoras theorem. So that would also be a circular error, right? Sine and cos, their identities, they're all based off, the proofs are based off starting from the Pythagoras theorem. Such a basic result that that would really be an error in some sense to use that. The question, what do you want me to repeat? So AB is 12, AB is 5, BC is 12. We want to find this AC, right? That's the question. And what is the strategy? The strategy is to use these similar triangles. So let me just give you one hint, maybe then it will become more clear where we are going with it. So see, how can you relate the 5C, the 5 and the C with the other two things? Let's try to understand that. So this will tell you, this thing will tell you that AB by BC, right? Comparing AB with BC, that ratio, that fraction would be the same if I compare AD with BD, the other fraction. Does that make sense? Just using the similarity, because they are similar, I can compare the corresponding sides. I can compare AB and BC, that ratio, that magnification, that scale of magnification or contraction, whatever it is. We don't know that exactly at this point, but yeah, negative magnification. would be the same as you compare AD with BD. So we can write this equation. I'm very strategically writing this equation because in this equation, my 5 and the C feature in. My 5 is AB and the AD is the C. Okay, so I believe everybody is following that. Now we can just write what we know. We can write down what we know. We know that the AB is 5. We know the BC is 12. And the AD is C. Oh, okay. I've introduced a BD also. Let's write it then. I've introduced a new variable. Never mind. We write it. Not a problem. Let's write the other ratio that comes out from here maybe. The other ratio is BD and CD, right? That would be BD and CD. The CD is Z minus C, right? Does this equation make sense for all of us? No, we don't know exactly where we are going, but we are seeing that we are able to relate these things. We are able to relate the C, the BD, the Z. They are appearing together in a relation. Let's use the second equation also. Let's use the second equation also. Again, here you can do the same thing. Just think algebraically, it's simple. This BD and the BC. So BD and the BC. Then this AD and the BA. So we'll just write it first and then we can put the values. That way you won't go wrong. And then the AB, the first and the last, and the first and the last, AB and AC. So AB and AC. Now let's put the value. So we're just doing it in a very simple manner, trying to tell you that this is a simple thing, not some very tricky thing in some sense. Let's write what we know and what we pretend to know, like these variables. The BC is 12, the AD is C, the AB is 5. Again, the AB is, okay, so I hope I'm not messing up with the AD and the AB and that's right, that's good. AB is 5 again. So this is a long solution, but it's not a hard solution. Okay. What is AC? The AC is just Z. What we actually want in the end. Z. Does this look good? You have another equation. No, already you have connections between these things. We have connections, right? What do you get from here? It looks good for equation to me, so I'm using it. Z times C, and you remember you won't need all these equations, but we are writing it because we're not experts yet. So we're just writing it and seeing where we go. Also, so that we don't miss anything, it's a good practice and so on. ZC is 25. Okay. Let's write one more. I'll write the BD and this one. Doesn't matter which one you write. Z times BD. These are all numbers in the end of the day. Remember, no need to worry. Z times BD equal to 12 times 5, that is 60. Okay. They have 3 variables hanging around. Okay. Z times BD is 60. Look good? Looks good? Yeah. Now I'll go back to this equation. A lot of equations. Maybe people should also work it out on your own later on. But since this is the first time, so I'm just trying to do it together. Usually I leave all these calculations. Okay. Now we have other equations. So from here you can cross multiply this part. 5 times BD is 12 times C. Okay, so this is like a learning thing, a methodology. Okay. Now you can write another one. Okay, you can. I don't want to write BD square. I don't want to get into squares and all right now. So it's better to do the first and the last. Right. So what do we get? 5 times Z minus C equals to 12 times BD. So we have all these equations in front of us. What is our goal? Our goal is to get rid of the BD, right? And to find Z and C and so on in one equation. So we can do that. So what we can do is maybe we can take the leverage of these two equations. Maybe we can eliminate the D from these two. So what I'll do, I'll write it again. Do work it out on your own because there are several ways to get to these in the end result. Main was the observation of the similarity really. 5 times BD is 12C. So using this 2, you see, oh wait a minute. Oh, this was Z right here. So you can just divide this 2. You can just simply divide this 2. You get Z by 5 equals to, hold on, 12 5 is 60. But that's not a new equation. I'm sorry. You'll get the same equation right with that. So that's a useless step. That was useless step. No problem. We'll try to do some more useful steps. So what could you do? You could try to use this one then maybe, right? And see. I mean, one of it has to work. 12 times BD equals to 5 times Z minus C. Again, I'll divide this to remove like this. 60 Z minus C. Now you can write it. So Z times Z minus C, this is 12, is 144. Okay, this equation is good, right? Now you have this equation here, Z times C is 25. Now we are not very far. Fortunately, we are not very far. You can now divide these two equations. You can divide these two equations. What will you get? If you divide this two, you get Z minus C by C equals 144 by 25. So this is one equation in Z and C. And then you already have ZC equal to 25. So you can use those two equations and find Z and C. Okay. Again, bit of work, I agree. But this is basically we are ending up proving a milestone result, that is Pythagoras theorem, finding the hypotenuse. So it looks a little long. It is a little long. But it's like a proof in the end. Okay. So 25Z minus 25C equals to 144C. And so 25Z is equal to 169C. So this is one equation. And you also know that Z times C is 25. So again, you can divide these two equations. Right? Again, you divide it. So you have 25 by C equals to 169 by 25C. Solve it. Right. So it just goes on a roll. Yeah. But it's almost done. So it's 25 times 25 by 169 is equal to C times C. So you can find out that C from here will be 25 by 13. Now you know the C. I'll leave it to you people to find the Z because Z, okay, it's already here. So Z times C is 25, right? So Z you can find from here is going to be 13. 13. So that's 13. Very boring, I agree. Boring in the sense that calculate, but this is a major result that we proved actually. If you would have put X and Y here, you would have got X square plus Y square. You would have got Z square equal to X square. I encourage people to use this proof. If needed, mimic the proof. Okay. If needed. And prove that in fact Z square or Z will be root over of this. This is the well-known Pythagoras theorem, which most of you would have seen maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter too much. Okay. But you see, there were no surprises. It's because we have we are doing a careful study of similarity, the various places where we are not just okay starting defining similarity and then doing a few. No, we are doing it in different situations in different places, trying to investigate so that the setting up equations was easy, and after that it is just some going through routine calculations and patiently doing the work. Okay. Yeah, so I hope you um yeah, might finding it boring, but yes. So I believe this is good, right? Let's do one more hard result. Not hard, but one more proving one more result. All these will be useful when we do more interesting geometry. But let's do one more good result. Okay. So this is something that I started yesterday, but in the end again and again I'm doing it in the end. So I can quickly go over that and we can try to prove it after that. Again, an application of similarity, of course, parallel lines and so on. There are many, many interesting applications we'll see, but for the time being, let's do this. Thanks. Yeah, right. So for the time being, let's do this. So yesterday I had asked this question. So let's say I was drawing the angle bisector. So I described that yesterday. I think Amanda would know what angle bisector is. Yeah, you can. If someone is still not clear, they can ask me. Okay. I had drawn the angle bisector yesterday from here, and I had asked this qualitative question. Okay. Again, along with learning this topic, we are trying to, at least I'm trying to convey how mathematics for large part works. Works meaning that what kind of questions do people ask, how it progresses. Some, I mean, very, very loose sense. Okay. Not that I know, I mean, just saying what I've observed. So we have this D. Now you see these two angles are same. That's what it means by saying it's angle bisector. So what is it that I asked yesterday? I asked that, let's say if I put the midpoint, which will roughly be here, which side will the angle bisector fall? And Karthik told us that it will fall on the left side, on the side of BM. And the real reason for that again was something what Ram said today is that this AB is less than AC. Because AB is less than AC, right? So it tends to fall this side. I mean, you can feel it. We had discussed this more elaborately last time, but it's clear, I guess. So AB is less than AC is kind of the real reason. So it implies BD is less than DC, and BD less than DC basically means that D is on the left side. D is on the side of BM. But I said, look, this is qualitative result. Doesn't say any calculation, just says where it is. But I said that this is not it. In fact, this ratio, if it's less than 1, then this is less than 1, but that's just the same thing again. But I said this is not it. There is a stronger quantitative version of this that is true, and that is these are equal. And there are implications after implications of these kind of results. Okay, angle bisector. This is known as the angle bisector theorem, which means that if you draw the angle bisector, then the ratio in which it cuts, the ratio in which it divides the base is not very different. I mean, it's not something very hard to find. It is the same as the ratio of the corresponding sides, and you can understand which sides I'm talking about, the opposite sides that are there on the top. Okay, AB is to AC. Okay. Now we would really want to prove this. Now thinking about this, this is again kind of, oh, this looks like these are the kind of things that you get from similar triangles. These are the kind of things which you get from similar triangles, isn't it? Now again, this can be proved by trigonometry, but trigonometry is I mean, it's a good tool, but then that uses a lot of algebra and it's very good, of course. But we want to do it synthetically because the synthetic techniques, because in very complicated situations, trigonometry and maybe complex numbers might fail, but they have their own places. It really depends. When you have those tools, it depends how you use them. For the time being, let's assume we don't know trigonometry. We just want to do it with bare hands. Okay. So we really want to how do I say this? We really want to bring in this ratio in the picture in a different place. We want to move this around. So what I'll be doing is something maybe a bit new, but it will be used a lot. So I have made a mistake by drawing it very high. These are the things I have to be careful about while presenting. But I'm also learning these things along the way. Let's see. So I'll draw it here. What I'll be doing, and in hindsight, it will be very clear why I'm doing this. And it's a very useful technique. Like when you do area calculations, Olympiad problems and such, it will be useful. So what I will be doing is I'll be drawing this line. Okay, this is not enough. I'll be drawing this line which is parallel to AD. The line through C that you see is parallel to AD. I should have decided upon the triangle more carefully. But you see, that's okay. I mean, how you want to learn, we learn. So I'm drawing this parallelly. Now you can understand I'm trying to create similar triangles, trying to bring similar triangles out of nowhere. But of course, I didn't invent this proof. The first time I saw this, quite late, unlike you people. I saw this in class 11. Okay. Yeah, but never mind. So this is parallel. That's why we have drawn. And you can kind of understand why I'm doing this. Because when you do this and you kind of get similar triangles, but this is a very useful method, and the more you see this method in different places and use it yourself, you can appreciate it more. That way I get similar triangles, and this ratio BD is to DC gets projected on this place. What do I mean? You will agree with me that BD is to DC, that is the expansion of BD to BC, but here I'm just writing DC, you can check that is correct, will be the same as AB to AE. So I mean, in a perfect world, I should have written BC to BD is same as ABE, which you see. So BC is the magnification of BD, and so BE is the magnification of BA. I should have written this right, but you can check that you can simplify this and get this. I am not doing it right now because there is sort of time. We are ahead of time, but no problem. We'll do this quickly. Let's do this. You get this right. I hope this is clear. Okay, AB is to AE. So I'm doing this by this by. It's just a more convenient thing. Okay, yeah, it's just a more convenient thing. Now, this is the thing. But I want to say that BD is to DC is same as AB is to AC, right? I mean, so this is where you can do backward thing. I mean, just in your rough, you can note down like this quickly, right? You want to show this. This is what I want to show. You will write it in the rough somewhere on the side. Okay, but I'm just saying this is what you want to show, right? So if you want to show this, what do you really want to show? What does it break down to showing? It really breaks down to showing that this AE is same as AC. If you can show it, you're done, right? At least that much you agree. Then the job will be done, because this we already have established by similarity. So we just want to show that. So you can say claim is enough to show that AE is equal to AC, but really this is the next step. And even if I don't get there directly, you can just do some work here. So what do I mean? Just do some angle chasing. When you are lost in geometry, the best thing probably to do is to do some angle chasing, if it makes sense that in that situation. So what I'm saying is, if you do some angle situation, it's really not very difficult, because see this angle right here, I'm just rushing a little here, okay? This angle right here is equal to this angle right here. And that's because corresponding angles, right? This right here and this right here. So they are corresponding angles, right? So they'll be same. But now, because what we have is an angle bisector, this is a Z right here, right? And because of the Z, and you people have already said these things, so I'm already writing it. Only writing it. Now you know that because these two angles are same, we sort of proved the other direction of this. Because the angles are same, the sides must be same. What sides must be same? AE must be equal to AC. right? So look at it from here if you have any troubles. This is the base, right? And this this is the base. Let me just go a little slow here. This is the base, and this angle is equal to this angle, which means that the corresponding side, this side, again, you can say symmetry, you can say symmetry line, but this is a well-known theorem. It's quite clear as well that this should be equal to this. So this should be true. So yeah, we did a little fast. I didn't give time to think and such, but yeah, okay. We get this. And so we have this beautiful result, and you can understand it's computationally very, very useful in a lot of places. Okay. So in the end, what have we established? We have established, so we had to go outside the triangle. We had to draw this line. Okay. I'll give you variations of these. So don't worry, maybe by tomorrow evening or something. AB is to AC is the same as BD is to DC. I mean, one thing is that if you know all the three sides, then you can find BD and DC, right? So, but yeah, you can, not showing the application right now. Okay, so the class is over. Now, if anybody wants to say something, yes, yeah, right. If anybody wants to say something, they can say. Any questions, any suggestions? Okay, right. All right. So I guess that's, yeah, okay. Okay, good night. So we will be having the, yes, thanks. We'll be doing interesting stuff like this. But as you can see, this is a slightly like a basic class because we are all like in sixth standard, seventh standard, but we are trying to learn interesting stuff, but it's a basic class. So yeah, we can talk about that with your mom. Yeah, okay. So I think it's fine. There are Olympiad classes there. We can look at that. Okay. So it's good for today. I'll announce the class. I mean, you timings we know. So the next class is scheduled to be on Saturday. Saturday. This is the timings for us. This particular batch in this particular class will continue on Saturday, 9 to 10:30 p.m. India time. Okay, that's the timing. Yeah. Okay, so I hope people, and also if you want to make any suggestions that this topic you want to do this topic something like that, we can try to work that out also. Okay, but I'll be going like this. Once we have more taste of these things and more touch with these things, we'll be moving into trigonometry a bit. Okay, maybe not too much because we don't want to go too much into all those identities and all too much for now. Okay, then see you then. Thank you. Good night.